Hello, everyone. Angel here. Oh, my goodness. It's been a couple of weeks. We took a couple of weeks off. I had some healing to do. So let's get started. We are going to be talking today about our original wounds and what's going on with the ethereal flow and the ethereal plane. So, first, I think I'll start with an update about the ethereal plane and the ethereal flow and what's been going on here on planet Earth. Now, one of the services that I still do on the Astral is I call myself a Unity Consciousness Grid Engineer. And I saw some article that said that science has discovered that there is this invisible field that permeates or that surrounds the earthly plane and it protects the Earth's atmosphere. Really? I'd like to liken that to the Unity Consciousness Grid, the ethereal plane, and those are the things that we've been working to heal and repair since roughly 2011 throughout this ascension shift and this shift in consciousness, and it's going very well. Last year we were focusing on Gaia. This year what we're focusing on is humanity, and this focus is quite a bit different actually than last year, because when you infuse a planet with an ethereal flow, all living things are affected by this. Everything living can feel when this ethereal source energy permeates an atmosphere. Now, what we've got going on with humanity is a lot of segregation. When I look at the energy of humanity, I see a lot of separate pockets of energy. Whether you want to call them consciousness fields or whatever, there is a huge illusion of separation. And also, your home has a separate pocket of energy. All of the energy here that's currently on the earthly plane is stifled and in pockets. And what we want to do with a unity consciousness grid or a unified consciousness field is to take those little pockets, relieve the energetic pressure. Now, that energetic pressure that is going on here on planet Earth, it's been since the dawn of humanity. And what I mean by that is just to impress upon you that these pockets of energy are not just your lifetime. So it's really important that you understand this right now. This is since humans inhabited the earth, there has been a misconception that energy is separate from everything else. So when I look at this energy, I see separate consciousness fields, and we've recently been working on the consciousness field of the holidays, and that was pretty much my last live broadcast. Was what we talked about was navigating the holidays, and I directed that towards the US because I know that you guys were celebrating Thanksgiving, and there was a great big pocket of energy that I encountered after that live broadcast that I pierced, because I go into this energetic zone, which you're learning how to do. And I go into this energetic zone, and I have to go through every layer of energy from where I am here in what's being called the third dimension. I need to go into the fourth and the fifth and beyond that. So when I pierced the holiday bubble, I am not a huge fan of the Gregorian calendar, nor am I a huge fan of the holidays that are instilled on the Gregorian calendar. So for the last couple of years, no one's ever heard me say Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Christmas, and all those types of things. Not that I don't enjoy the holidays and understand all of that, but I know and understand intuitively that there's that consciousness field. So when I pierced that holiday bubble, it felt a lot like way back when the natives had the land, everything that happened with the land. We won't go into that, and all of those things, and the anger and the frustration and all of this is in this dense bubble. Okay. And so when someone's going in to access the ethereal plane, whether it's a channeler, an energy worker, whatever you want to call yourself, you're going to hit this field of energy. And when we did, we realized that we needed to skim the top off and relieve the pressure. Okay, this is going to be the focus for energy for the next few months for humanity, is relieving these pockets of pressure, the segregation of energy pockets that are going on. And they stay in place for actually reasons like the Gregorian calendar. You're forced into seasonal rituals that are not natural, and they just get enforced. So you more or less just forget that there was this energy that happened here or it happened there, and then your mind is distracted by whatever the next holiday is. So you want to balance your thoughts now between the Gregorian calendar, because I don't know about anybody else, but November kind of sucked. It felt like we were going through a blender energetic wise as you're opening your empathic eyes, and there's this merging of the earthly plane and the ethereal plane, and the really highly sensitives that have been working since the 2010 2011 timeframe, and I don't need no emails. I know that there's been energy workers that have been working for decades, but the ones that have been working on the consciousness portion, the unified consciousness field, the unity consciousness grid, you've been working on your mind and your ego, and it's taken that long to get some training on how to process what's actually happening here energetically. Because again, every person feels when we pierce those bubbles of consciousness, they are starting to get really, really agitated. And what's happening for the very highly sensitive empaths is this: you're noticing that your original wounds in your energetic field, your personal energetic field, are being pierced as well too, or being exposed. And so there are several of you that are saying, I thought I was done with this. And mentally and egoically, probably yes. Energetically, this is what I'm saying to every healer on the planet, no matter who you are, not so much. And the reason why is because the ethereal plane hasn't been here to support you. And the reason why you haven't been able to energetically handle this is because of those pockets of energy that I'm talking about. You try and handle your own energy, and you're bumping up against all these pockets of energy, whether it be your family, which we're really going to talk about today, whether it be society, religion, the everything handed down from the beginning of humanity to this and there and that. So when you're going into to heal these original wounds, which, by the way, as a healer, I want to make a point that I hope settles in well with you, but the only person that you can actually heal is yourself. You're assisting others to heal themselves, but the only person you can actually truly heal is yourself. And it's time to feel these original wounds and then go into healing them within you. So you're getting lots of circumstances where you're getting grumpy relatives, grouchy relatives, this ethereal plane feels like an ouch to a highly sensitive. Like within 2 hours after my last live broadcast, I was feeling all of these swirls about money. I don't want to spend time with my family. All of this holiday just drudgery that I had pierced, and I was like, wait a second, we don't do this in Costa Rica, we don't do the holidays. And I was like, oh yeah, I haven't really pierced that field in a couple of years at least, and intentionally. So the sensitivity is at an all-time high. Okay, and our family members are sensing that this actual shift in energy is real, and also our friends as well. But where the big push seems to be for these original wounds seems to be centered around your family, and there's no accident that we're experiencing this around the holiday season, because you're being forced to spend time with your family, and I say forced because most of us as highly sensitives have learned to protect our energy, hide, stay in the cave. Now we're referring to it as a bubble so that you can see more clearly, because you want to be able to get out there and sense and feel the world around you. But understanding it is getting confusing, because as you're actually really coming to understand energy and you're seeking your own privacy and you're doing these types of things, your family members and your friends are going, what are you doing? You're being so selfish. You're being so quiet. I mean, I've lost so many friends because I stay into my zone, and again, I'll say thank you to the friends who understand and give me my space to know that I have this self-love thing going on. And there was a wonderful question that came through that I'll answer in a little bit about the difference between being selfish and self-love. And your family members are noticing this shift, and it's really freaking them out. Okay. And so they're coming at you with every single thing that they have, and bless them for doing in it because this is where your original wounds lie. So they're coming at you. We've been focusing the last couple of months on anger and fear. Now, a layer just below that would be guilt. Oh, guilt, such a wonderful thing. These wounds that we have originally in our energetic field are handed down to us by what I'm calling energenetics, not genetics, but energenetics. These are energetic patterns that are handed down through generation after generation, and so the wound becomes yours, whether or not you were actually traumatized by whatever it is that's going on, or you simply were in the room being a highly sensitive empath who's a volunteer on planet Earth to help anchor this ethereal flow and the ethereal plane to the earthly plane before we all leave and go home. You're going to be subjected to mountains of ignorance. Let's go back to the Hopi prophecy here and know and understand that you are quite different than the other members of your family, and the members of your family are freaking out because they feel you pulling your energy back. And before we used to block that energy when we talked as empaths, but now we're pulling our energy back and we're looking to heal our own wounds. Now, I need to remind you that when you heal your own wounds, this freaks the crap out of your family, because then they're very, 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 very scared that you're going to see the truth in the fact that these energenetics were passed on. But hey, no harm, no foul. That's pretty much how generations work. And a client had mentioned an article, I think it was in 5D, that was saying that dis-ease is actually handed down energetically. And I totally agree with that. And that's when I was on that call and I was like, well, it's an energenetics is really what it is. And then you take on those diseases, whether it be a certain form of cancer or anything, because when energy permeates your field, Louise Hay was spot on. It goes to a certain center in your body. And this is also too where I want to mention to you that as we're closing this gap between the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth dimension, which you haven't heard me talk about very much, your sensitivity is increasing and your physical responses to energy are increasing. I myself had extreme kidney problems as soon as I pierced that bubble, because one of the functions that I perform is I assist through my work with the Unity Consciousness Grid and the Unified Consciousness Field in helping to clean and clear that up. So your physical responses are becoming fast and they're becoming hard to this energy. And I was really confused because I'm asking my guides, I said, what in the world is going on here? Why am I having such physical responses? And they said, if you're going to assist and use your body to move this energy, Louise Hay was spot on. This anger and this fear goes through your kidneys. It goes through all of that, the water purification system that we have here. Feeling wonderful now, getting back on track, but and you should not experience this at this level that I'm talking about, but you are experiencing it with kidney discomfort, urinary tract discomfort, liver discomfort, anything that has to do with processing of energy. Your body's going bing, 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 bing. So your original wounds are probably anchored within that area. And take a look and revisit Louise Hay's book about what these, what the certain energy is about in the bodies, because it was a beautiful book. I believe the book is You Can Heal Your Life. So, and by the way, yes, too, I wanted to go back to that point about healers. You know, we can assist with energy, you can send energy, you know, you can do all of those types of things, but they're a temporary relief for someone else if they aren't using the tools to actually heal their own wounds. So there needs to be an accompaniment that happens now with healers or channelers or anything when they're explaining all of this flow, where there are actually tools that are being given to you as an empath to do your own healing. I call myself a healer because I am, but I'm not responsible for healing any member of my family. And this is where it's getting a little confusing from the family end of it, because the family wants and needs are popping up about the holidays, and then they're popping off. I had back-to-back client calls yesterday where the siblings were just unloading on them and saying, you know, you're being selfish, you don't do this, you don't do that, you know. And these are grown adults, okay, grown adults who are being expected to what I consider heal their family. And again, I want to go back to saying this: your family and your friends are not your clients. That just won't work. Okay. Your, I do have friends that are clients. Don't get me wrong, but these lifelong friends and those types of things, they don't really understand what's going on here. And that Hopi prophecy is speaking directly about the mountains of ignorance. When you emerge as a healer, you're going to find mountains of ignorance, and it's borderlining on stupidity when your family's coming at you saying, "How dare you, take care of yourself or try to embrace this energetic life. You should be here taking care of my energetic wounds." Because most empaths in a family environment, you pretty much raised your hand younger and said, "Hey, I'll be your empath dumping ground. I know that there's a role that needs to be here so that I can fit in because I don't really fit in here. I'll go ahead and be your go-to person to dump all your crap on." And that's what you've been pulling your energy back from. And now your family's coming at you going, "You're doing this, you're doing that, you can't believe this, da, 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 da." And your head is getting really messed with because it is really stirring up all of that guilt that you feel about moving on to lead an energetic life. New background with lots of animals, and as soon as I want you to know what it's like to stir up energy. This always happens. I don't know if you can hear the dogs in the background, but when you stir up energy within your field, people feel it around you as well too. So my bottom line advice with your family is continue to pull your energy back. If you use a defensive blocking or try and cut them off completely, it's not, that's not necessarily, whatever you resist persists, and they'll come at you harder. Pulling it back is a more optimal way for you to do this, because you don't want to add your energy into this argument. There's really no way to win this family argument, especially when grown adults are telling you that as a grown adult, you have some responsibility to them, to whatever. And right now I want to add in just a little bit about the definition of love with family. In every instance, almost every instance, when I speak to people about their family members, the definition of love seems to be that I need to worry about you. Blows my mind that the definition of love would be worry. What you're looking for is an unconditional love. It's what I mentioned with Nelson Mandela. Allow other people to be able to find their own space. If they're happy with religion, amen. Okay, if they're finding solace in this and all of those types of things, that's absolutely wonderful. That's why you pull your energy back. Now, if they're coming at you saying the Lord our Father is this and that, and you're blasphemous and you don't need to be, disrespecting this and this and that, pull your energy back and say, "Look, I'm not going to go on at you with a bunch of light worker words and things like that," because there's absolutely no difference if you start this argument between the religious argument and the energy working argument. They're the same thing. Okay, there doesn't need to be an argument about who is right and who is wrong. So the minds and the egos of your family members are coming at you because as they see your energy changing, they're perceiving themselves as wrong. So make certain that in your mind that you yourself don't think that they are wrong, because they are not wrong. They are dealing with what was handed down to them and this and this and that. So what you need to give to them what you're looking for with them, which is, I'm going to allow you to have these thoughts. I'm going to allow you to have these feelings, but I will not allow you to dump your crap on me anymore. That is being selfish, but not at the expense of others. That is self-loving yourself. That's saying, I'm not going to keep putting myself into this position so that you can dump on me, so that I can perform this service for you, which I've performed since since I've been here on this planet within the family. This is not my job. I'm not responsible for you. I've often looked at nature and how they care for their young and humans, and I'm quite perplexed. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not family bashing here, but I am saying there is a good deal of the construct of family that needs to be taken a look at. And if the expectation of your family is that you need to stay in contact with me forever and worry about me and then listen to all of my crap, ask yourself if that's what you really want to do. Okay. And if it is what the service that you want to keep performing, know that if you're looking to live an energetic life or be a coach or being anything like that, if you're still performing that service for your family, that empathic child within you is like, oh, hell to the no. I am not going to go out there and do that for a living. Do you know what I've been doing for my entire life for all of these members of the family? So that is actually what you're saying. I'm done with this. Okay. I don't want this egoic and mind projection from you, your anger at me changing, your fear of me changing. And then when you see that I am actually changing, you imply buckets of guilt. Now, on the topic of guilt, that is how your original wounds are anchored. Okay. Your original wounds, they're like tears in your aura, would be another way to explain it. Tears in your personal energy field, that would be able to explain it, that have never been allowed to heal, because that's how you stay connected to your family. They want to connect to you through suffering, whether it be a medical thing or a natural disaster or these holiday things where we all get together and just be miserable together. And I know that there are people that have very wonderful holidays, and please start filming it because I'd like to see it. I'm kidding. I joke. But there's this implication of how this family structure works, and you're getting very, very confused. I'm like wiping my eyes here when you look at this family stuff, because this empathic child in you is like, man, I must suck at this energy because I feel really balanced. But when I go back into this field of my family, they basically, the two really highly sensitive, two of my absolute favorite empaths that I talked to yesterday walked away after conversations where their family just said, you're being mean to your parents, you're not doing this, you're doing that, doing all of this. That's selfish. When I'm saying that to you, that is selfish. That is me intentionally going to wound you and intentionally telling you that my suffering is your fault. Okay, if you're in that mode, you need to take like 10 steps back, because that's when you're being selfish at the expense of others. Now, I encourage people to be selfish, and it does fall into self-love, but not at the expense of others. So if I am projecting my things, which is why I get quiet with my family and friends as well too. I have things to work out, whether it be my energetic jobs, my own energetic life. I pull that back and I deal with it within my own, or I reach out to the coaches that I work with. And that's why people reach out to me as well too. And that is the most selfless thing you can do, because you're not phoning your family going, you totally screwed me up. I got to go through all this blah, 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 blah. Silence is the best respect you can give to those responses. Or, I'm sorry you feel this way. And I'm saying this, and I'm really emphatically mentioning this, because this is what you're walking into now with the holidays and your family, because they're looking at you sideways going, all right, what about this light worker cult you joined, or this way shower cult you joined? It seems to them like it's just another religion. And I'll be very honest, the way that it's presented in a lot of ways, to me, the light worker and way shower thing does actually feel like a religion. And that's where I kind of step back and say, there is no right or wrong. There is no way to do this. I think that every single person is unique, and their energetic signature is unique. And the tune that you're going to play for healing is your own individual healing. So we can come together under the topics of light working and way showing and energy working, but really what you're looking to do is lead an energetic life. So you want to take a look in yourself, and you would be selfish if you're judging the other members of your family for their choices in the way that they're doing things. What you're using now is discernment in whether or not you want to look in and be involved in those energetic fields. And if that energetic field involves, me picking up the phone and going, you are responsible for every bit of suffering within the family, why the frick would I expect you to talk to me again? And when someone's in energetic pain, it's rather difficult to not project that, which is another reason why I choose silence and why I choose to work on my own things. That's me being selfish, but not at the expense of others, and attempting to do self-love, which is an unconditional self-love. Okay, so we do have the question and answer period open here, and I'm going to look over my notes real quick. I could go on about this forever, and we will talk about it in great detail. But I want to talk about what I speak with my client. I call it the energetic match game, and to heal an original wound, this is what needs to happen. Since we weren't ever taught, your parents weren't ever taught, no one's ever taught how to lead an energetic life, you weren't taught how to really heal energy within yourself. And the way that you heal it is you match the database in your mind with the feeling that is in your personal energy field. So when these things are coming at you from your family, you have to pull yourself back, use the discernment, and say, okay, I've felt this before. Okay, this goes back to this goes back to mom, this goes back to dad, and really get back to, you don't necessarily have to come up with a particular instance, but really get back to what it felt like to be open energetically in your family. And when you can match up where you learned the habit with the feeling, all you have to do to create this one and done thing is feel it and think about it at the same time. Okay, so you feel it within yourself to actually heal it. So if that's crying, anger, punching a pillow, writing an angry letter, doing an exercise that I teach empaths in their mind, it's a freeze frame technique, where you actually just expel the energy for what it is at that time. That's when the energy leaves those parts of your body and you're not susceptible to bringing in from the empath effect those wounds from others. So if you're getting thrown off by something that's being projected to you or something that you're observing, there's a nice, wonderful opportunity there for you to play the empath match game. What is the feeling that I'm feeling? What is the feeling that I'm thinking about projecting through my mind and my ego towards my friends or my family or whoever it is that I'm blaming, my partner, and where did this originally come from? Because what I'm also realizing, and I'm just going to dip into here real quick, is that with relationships, in the beginning, there's this euphoria that comes in, and there's this biological chemical effect where love starts to kick in, but then very much so your energenetics kick in, and then you're all of a sudden, your partner has become the family structure of whatever it is that has not been resolved. Now that is a beautiful gift that partners, if they understand this, can give to each other and say, let's look at the energy behind this, let's clear this so that you can get to an actual relationship between you and that individual, because most relationships are wound on wound, shadow on shadow, like I've said in other things. So I only wanted to mention that because if you're looking to enhance your partnership relationships, that's also another opportunity to play the match game, because you're more than likely playing out roles from within your family. Either you're acting like your mom or your dad or your grandfather or your grandmother, or your partner's doing the exact same thing. So you want to be in the now. Everyone's trying to get into the now. And that's why I mentioned those pockets of energy from before, because we inherit those pockets of energy through the family dynamics. We inherit it through, through society, through wherever you are in the country, whether it's a culture. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Whether it's culture, like Korean culture, German culture, USA culture, these different cultures and habits you also inherit as well too. But when you focus on the original wounds, we spend so much time with our family. We're with them for roughly the first 18 years of our lives, and because of what's happened with the economy, most people are staying even up until the age of 30, and even longer with their family members as well too. So you've got this past game of hide the pain that everybody is feeling. So you want to take a look at your own pain to heal it, and please know and understand that your job is not to heal your family. So I did deal with that one question. we got a thing here going on too, which is, what is the difference between being selfish and self-love? And self-love, really, quite honestly, is right now at the definition of, I love myself enough to be able to say no to certain energetic environments. And you're going to find that you'll be saying no, and not in a resisting type of deal, but just, look, I'm not allowing this. I have boundaries. Okay, because you don't want to say no and then just go on about your merry way and figure out, and then be like, okay, well, that's done, because you have to deal with the energy of why you're saying no. Why don't I enjoy this vibration? And if you don't, you will find it in your partner, you will find it in your friendships. The ethereal flow is pushing all of this up for you to see and heal right now. Okay. And you're probably, according to the Hopi and a lot of the Indian prophecies, the only person. There's a very small group of people that are actually beginning to lead energetic lives. And this is where you hit the terrifying mountains of ignorance within that, because people just don't understand. They're like, explain to me what you're doing. Tell me if this is a cult. Tell me if this. And it's like, I don't even know yet. So just back off while I'm figuring it out. And then give that same thing to your family. So let me just look at my notes here. Okay, so the holidays are the trigger here. Your trigger for looking at these energenetics, and what an amazing time to be able to do this too. Look at what the responses are within your body, like, oh, I've got to go over here for Christmas Eve or this or that, and look at how the holidays are structured too. You've got this 24th or 25th on the Gregorian calendar where you spend all the time with the family, and then just 5 or 6 days later there's this New Year's where you get just completely obliterated, and that's where you're relieving your pressure, and you do that, and then you go. And then after you sober up from whatever you did on the holidays, and don't get me wrong, I don't really care what you do, what you drink, what you smoke, what you take. That's all your business. So, but look at how it's set up. So you've got this, I'm going to, break the bank here to show my family that we love them, and buy gifts, which I haven't bought gifts in years. My niece and nephew are like, huh? When I was around and in the States, I would spend time with them on their birthday, take them to a movie or something like that, but I don't buy gifts. So, you've got all of this pressure through commerce to do this, and then you've got the party your butt off because it's a new year, and then you've got, oh my goodness, I get to do my taxes and I get the money back from whatever it is I did here. So you're really conditioned to not take a look at those responses you have about spending the time with your family. So if your gut tenses up, your kidneys start to hurt, your throat starts to, your head starts to hurt, your heart starts doing fluttering. I mean, you definitely have some wounds there that are like, I don't want to go play in that sandbox anymore. So saying no to that is actually the most selfless thing you can do, because what's going to happen within your family members' energenetics is that role is going to need to be filled by someone else. And this is the number one reason why your siblings are popping off and pissed off at you, because if you're not going to do it anymore, they're scared to death, and they don't even know it, but they're scared to death that they're going to have to fill that role. And they're like, oh my God, you're not going to do this anymore? Do you have any idea what this is going to mean to me? I'm going to have to do this, and I'm going to have to take this on. And I really thought it was great that you were the one that we dumped on all the time. So really take a look at, and it's very hard to see yourself that this is what's going on with your siblings and your family members, that they're scared that they're about to become the dumpy within that, because that's how that little energetic pattern works. They will move on to dump on someone else, and that's what you want that to happen. So whether it's, I'm going to blame society. I actually heard someone blame a planet the other day for the aggression going on. I'm going to blame the government. I'm going to blame religion. I'm going to blame the baby Jesus, for all the things that are going on here. And the blame game needs to stop really, really soon, because when you're looking at these original wounds, you are not looking to blame this on your family. You're looking to understand. You're seeking to understand how the wound got there. You're seeking to heal it within yourself. And then you're seeking to release that energy that's stored in that part of your body that you didn't even know was stored in that part of your body. So if you're noticing your other family members starting to get a little more conscious of their physical ailments as well too, that's right in line with the ethereal flow. So, oh wow, that is all of my notes. Okay, I'm going to look at time here real quick. We're half an hour. I know I could just ramble on about this. Let me take a look here and read what we've got here on the Q&A. I've experienced the energenetics of disease passed down 2 generations and healed it completely. So you're correct. We heal ourselves. Thank you very much. And that is, as healers, we're helping to heal nature. We're helping to heal Gaia, and we're helping to heal the planet. Humanity is a very different breed. They're the most amazing breed I've ever seen. In the fact that we are super intelligent, and we're super capable of creating so many different illusions, and we've even surpassed our capacity to suffer. But the creativity in humanity for not healing your own wounds it amazes me every single day. So the when you're looking to completely heal something, that is, it's you. And when you heal you, you can move on to heal these pockets of energy that I spoke about that are in with society. Because when you decrease your sensitivity with these wounds, then you'll be able to go out and assist others to heal themselves and act as a healer as well. I'm hoping that when you're doing your calls or you're assisting others or you're doing those types of things, you're encouraging people to know that there is mind and ego energy work that needs to happen. So alrighty. I think I'm coming to an end here. Thank you for those who have joined live. That is absolutely wonderful. This is a really good first kind of step into this. So, New Internet, thank you. By all means, send me questions about this and we'll cover more as you're going into the holidays. But I really suggest that you look at what your physical responses are to hanging out with your family. And if you're happy and excited, I am so excited for you about that too. But if your gut goes, oh, I don't want to do this, just know that the reason why you probably don't want to do it is because you are the empath that gets dumped on. And if you from here on, you have choices. If you choose to keep letting that happen, that's on you. Okay, I have boundaries now with my family, and I'm not going to allow them to dump their thoughts, and I don't dump mine on them. I'm not hollering them up going, if you aren't praising the source or you aren't doing this or Gaia or this or this or that, you're going to absolutely die, because that is none of my freaking business if they're not asking me. But when I have clients that make an appointment with me, absolutely we will discuss energy. But otherwise, I'm not ringing up my family telling them that they're going to go to that other, where they talk about the two worlds. You're going to get stuck on this world and I'm going to be over here. So that's just another part of the illusion that came up through this. So yay, I hope you have fun. Just hands. I hope you have fun with your illusions this month, and really realize that you can one and done this. If you can figure this out and trace back to when this guilt was beginning to be implied, just ask yourself questions. Ask your guides, please show me what this vibration originally felt like within here, and cry out the guilt. I mean, you're not responsible for your family's suffering. You're not responsible for your family's happiness. The only person that you're responsible for is you. And when you get that straight, you can heal an entire planet with just a very small group of people. So peace and love, and we'll see you this time next week. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye.